Hello everyone, I'm Satya Pradhan and I'll be talking about Factories Act 1948. What is Factories Act? So, Factories Act is an Indian law made to protect health, safety and welfare of workers in factories. What were the objectives of this act? The main objectives of this act were to regulate working conditions in factories, number 2, to ensure health and safety and welfare of workers, number 3, to establish duties of employers, managers, and workers, number 4, to prevent exploitation of labor, especially of women and young persons. What is the employee ceiling? This Factories Act applies to workers where 10 or more workers are there in a premises with power or 20 or more workers without power. So let's get to the definition. So the first is definition of factory. In this act, factory refers to any establishment engaged in manufacturing process. Employee, any person employed directly or indirectly in any manufacturing process. So, this act mainly focused on provisions regarding health, welfare, and safety. So, let's start with provision related to health. Factories Act states that all the factories must be kept clean and free from effluvia arising out of drains. Uh, Proper arrangement of treatment, proper arrangement of waste should be there. Mm, Adequate lighting and ventilation facilities should be there. Artificial humidification should be done. Overcrowding for every worker, at minimum of 14.2 cubic meters space should be maintained. Lighting, suitable and sufficient artificial or natural lighting should be there. Clean, potable drinking water should be there at a convenient place. Toilet facilities separate for male and female should be there. Spittoons should be provided. Spittoon basically refers to a place to spit. So let's start with the provision regarding safety. Factories Act states that every moving part of the moving machinery should be fenced properly, and the moving machinery should only be operated by adult trained male workers, and operating of dangerous machine by a young person is prohibited unless they are properly instructed and trained. There should always be a safety means to stop the machines and precautions in case of fire. If there is fire, if fire arises in any condition, there should always be an escape means and training should be given to the workers. Safety for every 1000 workers, safety officers are required. There should be provisions for handling hazardous substances, including health and safety policies, mm, emergency standards, and medical examination, and other safety measures, including safety in lifting machines, safety in revolving machines, and pressure plants and pits. Women and children are prohibited from cotton opener machines. Now, let's start with the welfare provision. The first one is washing facilities. Adequate and suitable places for workers to wash should be there. Uh, Facilities for storing and drying should be there, especially for those working in wet condition. Sitting arrangement for workers who are required to stand for a long time should be there. A first aid appliance, one first aid box for every 150 workers should be there. Canteens are mandatory if there are more than 250 workers. Shelters, lunchrooms are also mandatory if there are more than 150 workers, and creche facilities must be provided to women if there are 30 or more women, and welfare officers must be there for every 500 workers. Factories Act also states that only 8 hours can be the working hours for the workers, and 6 days of working days and at least 1 day holiday. Half hour break for every 5 hours of working hour. Overtime rates are two times the normal rates. Workers between Work hour is between 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. and children below 14 years are prohibited. And to employ an adolescent in a factory, the employer must obtain a certificate from surgeon of fitness. And for every 20 days of work, an employer is eligible for 1 day of holiday. Wage during leave is equal to the average earning, and mode of recovery for extra leave other than the annual wages can be deducted under mm, Payment of Wages Act. And for general offences, up to 1 lakh fine and imprisonment up to 2 years. And in case of accidents, notices should be sent to the inspector for death or serious injuries, and occupational disease also should be reported to the inspectors. Thank you. That will be all for